trees, if you try to put a value to a tree, I would suggest ask yourself, how much money do you need to produce a piece of technology that can do what a tree can do? Then you know the value of the tree, but that's even to you. For some species, just as if I ask you, what's the value of a home? It's higher than the value of a house. What's the value of a tree? For some species, a tree is their home. When you're walking and you just pluck a leaf off a tree, please do it with humility. A leaf is a solar panel, but such an advanced solar panel that it's even edible. And it's organic, and it is recyclable. It doesn't produce any pollution. On the contrary, it's a filter. It absorbs toxins from the air, neutralizes them. So when we look at our role as Khalifa, I'd like us to remember two fundamental groups of teachings in Islam. One, the maqasid of Sharia, the objectives, the higher intents, the aims of Sharia. What scholars describe or articulate in what they call the maqasid of Sharia, the objectives. The second area I would like us to look at quickly, the qawaid of fiqh, the maxims of Islamic thinking, of Islamic thought, of Islamic understanding, what some will describe as Islamic jurisprudence. The qawaid summarize the spirit of Sharia in 5 sentences, and I'll mention them quite quickly here. 1, al-umur bimaqasidiha. Matters are judged by the purposes that they fulfill. And so it is important for us to live our lives with purpose. Our lives will be judged by the extent to which we are able to fulfill our purpose. The second is al-yaqeen la yazulu bi-shak, that certainty is not overruled by doubt. What it means is we should look for evidence, we should look for certainty. And as we talk about environment and our custodianship, our representing Allah in taking care of the planet, we need science to help us. We need to be scientific. We need to study this planet better, understand how it works, and use science as a tool not to exploit. Some level of exploitation is necessary for our survival, but the question is, how can we do it sustainably? Not harming others, not harming other human beings, but not harming other creatures. People have come up with what they call the Sustainable Development Goals. Sustainable development means a way of development so that we are able to meet the needs of our own generation without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. This definition is good, but it is not adequate, because it is only concerned with our needs as human beings and our ability to do intergenerational justice with our children and great-great-grandchildren. We should promote a wider definition of sustainable development, one that is concerned also with the needs of other creatures and their ability to meet the needs of their own future generations. Why? Because meeting those needs are tied to our needs. Allah has created this planet Earth with cycles, with ropes that tie us together. Where you touch one side of the planet, you touch another side of the planet. You pollute this river, it takes the pollution downstream to the sea. Somebody pollutes the clouds, and the clouds send down poisonous acid rain that harms the land. And gradually the lands get more and more acidic, and it makes it difficult for small plants to survive. Those lands gradually become only places where certain species can survive, other species cannot survive. And as they get more acidic, it becomes more difficult for any plant to survive. Forests die and they cannot succeed their generations. Sustainable development should ensure the protection and survival of other species so that other species are able to meet their own needs without compromising the ability of subsequent generations of those species. We should be not only concerned about our survival, but the survival of those who we manage this planet or we live on this planet with. We say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. To Allah we belong and to Him we return. We're not the only ones returning to Allah with our complaints. On the day of judgment, even an animal that has been harmed will complain to Allah about the harm done. On the day of judgment, we will all stand before Allah. From Adam and us to the last human being. And whoever has done an atom's weight of good to the other, you will see it. If you have harmed a subsequent generation, your actions will be judged by your intentions. We don't just harm ourselves. Sometimes we cause intergenerational injustice, intergenerational oppression, intergenerational structural injustice, exploitation.